Hello and welcome to the Inside Track, the podcast where we chat about all the things that give you the edge in the world of innovation, business, design, tech, and culture. I'm Fuzlin Esau, and a big welcome back to Katy, Nokes, Client Director here at Hedgehog Lab, as well as Derek Gibb, Commercial Director, also here at the lab. Well, let's jump in straight away this week with the topics. Topic number one is around something that is going on right at the second. SpaceX is about to pull off the biggest IPO in history. Investor demand has come in at around 150 billion, double what they were targeting. At that IPO price, it would make Elon Musk the world's first trillionaire immediately. We've clearly entered sort of this moment of valuation rules where it's just everything is out the window. And we're witnessing these huge valuations. Have valuations gotten a bit out of control? What do you guys think of the SpaceX IPO and where we're putting our value?
From my perspective, selfishly, I work with a few clients in the investment banking space, or we do here at Hedgehog Lab. So this is an exciting time for them because this doesn't ever really happen. So an IPO of this size, but also open to the UK market, a certain amount allocated to the UK market. So that's exciting. And we have clients who are brokers for that, which is also exciting. So yeah, a whole new world there. But yeah, the valuation is interesting, shall we say? I think, the public the public's buying into it. The interest is obviously massive, with people signing up to be part of it. And I think that dictates the valuation, isn't it? It's interesting that sort of, I guess, means that people believe it's going to achieve the values that it's sort of been floated at. So yeah, I think it's just interesting. It's not something I'll be investing in because that's not my world. But yeah, it's mad. But the world's first trillionaire is also insane.
It has gone a bit like, I have here in South Africa, we have investment platforms pushing, the invest now in SpaceX, that type of thing. I think it's the first time we're seeing this kind of global, product launch, initial product offering. I don't think we've seen it before. And I don't think I've seen such hype since the WeWork crash, which I hope isn't an example of what's going to happen. But I don't think I've seen this level of hype since that whole episode, and there's a couple of documentaries. You can certainly watch those. Derek, what do you think about the SpaceX IPO? Are you investing?
No. Well, see, I think we probably all are because all the indexes follow it, right? So we are all in some way going to have it as a baseline, which rather gives them a baseline on the valuation. So yes, we probably are. But I went through it, I got somewhat addicted to sort of retail investing, just this a couple of years ago, but then it was also the time when all the meme stocks were going crazy as well. And this just seems exactly to be fought. On a much larger scale, but it seems exactly like a lot of these meme stock things because there's massive retail investor. I think there's something like 40% of the offering is going towards retail rather than all the institutes. So it's like the volatility is going to be huge. It's going to. It's just I just don't see. I don't understand how it's going to go. And I think. It's just like space in general. These numbers are just mind-boggling. And my wife and my father-in-law think I'm a total Luddite because I can't deal with space. I'm just why
There's too much going on. Right?
Well, he's retired, right? He's bought a new telescope, really big expense, this really massive telescope, and it's this is this constellation, and he's reading about astrophysics. I was just nah, it's too big. It's ridiculous. I don't know what's at the end of a street. Never mind what's going on a billion light years away. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So, but I think what's more interesting rather than the stock offering, because that's what it is, and it's going to go and it's going to be massive. But like Elon Musk has now positioned himself in like this position that no one could have ever imagined. Where he's like, if money equals power, he's the most powerful man in the world, or going to be, certainly, right? Like, but there's this where's the line between fact and science fiction? Because it's like that's on the horizon. Because you've got this company that has orbital data centers, like runs all of the AI infrastructure, is just like actually builds rockets as well. And this man who's colonizing a different planet, it's like, this is mad. Like, is stuff that you would think you were making up. Like, it sounds like science fiction, and it boggles the mind. So I like, it's super interesting, and one that I just don't have any answers for whatsoever. But I think as a business play, like, would you be wanting to be in that position of power and have that moat for your firm? Of course you would. Like, it's incredible. But then like that power dynamic's going to be like interesting when you've already got a very small amount of people who are very, very powerful within tech or within government or with tech and government and all these sort of things. And there you're suddenly going to have a man whose net worth is bigger than like Sweden, Sweden's GDP. Like, it's absolutely insane. So yeah, I think it's interesting to put not to fine a point on it.
I really like that idea. I mean, this will be $150 billion meme stock is insane to think about. And I also think it will be, I think this is the first time you'll see if there's an appetite for this type of thing. And if it doesn't get any pushback.
It will be, though, because like, so the retail investors propped up Tesla in the first place, right? Because they're not, I mean, like me, as I said, I did it as a hobby. And like, I tried to be smart, and like, but you're never going to be a guy or girl or person or an algorithm on Wall Street, are you? You're going to be someone who's reading the news, and then I was like, oh, that sounds good, I'm going to do that. Despite your best intentions, you are very much amateur at these things. But the valuation that people are attaching to is not what the algorithm is saying. It's like, well, actually, I believe that this is a thing, this is going to happen, so it's gut feel, and it's almost like not a cult following, but it kind of is, where you're thinking this guy has got an idea, he's going to do the thing. And as I said, he's literally done it with his valuations for Tesla over the past decade. So that can only go to suggest that this is going to go in the same way.
Yeah. And hopefully he's clawed back a bit of, I guess, good faith, because we all know what happened to Tesla sort of mid last year, when Elon was a little bit too involved in politics, and the Tesla stock went into free fall. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see where he is now, what the public thinks of him at this moment. Because I think before that, it was very much, Elon the genius, and now we're a little bit more hesitant in terms of his direction.
But do you not think that there's such a sort of hype around it that you still have the case now where people might actually not, like him or believe in that, but they sort of have a fear of missing out? So do you or you just partaking because actually what happens if you go into it and it does hit the valuations that they hope, and you could have made some good money on that? I don't know. It's like Bitcoin all over again. People
it's Bitcoin all over again.
Regrets back then, didn't they?
The big consultancies spent the last 3 years telling their clients how to do AI. And now AI is doing kind of what they did. Junior hiring across the major firms is down around 40%. Senior consultant hiring is up 55%. And the classic pyramid with sort of big cohorts of analysts at the bottom supporting a few partners at the top is quietly collapsing. McKinsey, BCG, Bain, Deloitte, they're all running a lot leaner. And the work that used to take a team of recent MBA graduates a week now takes a model about 4 minutes. So if you're in consultancy right now, which is sort of what we're in, what's actually your edge? And is the AI native firm the thing the big players are afraid of? Or are they just waiting to acquire it? Derek, what are your thoughts on consultancy in the future?
TLDR is that most of them will acquire it, right? So We can all be as innovative and smart as we possibly can be. But at the end of the day, if someone decides from Accenture or Deloitte that they're going to buy you, they probably will. So we've seen that to an extent with some firms already. But I think what's an interesting dynamic is you have the likes of Anthropic and OpenAI acquiring firms as well now to do that sort of forward deployed piece. So they're in effect going into consultancy. So I think there's a different dynamic at play. So I think the next few years will be very, very interesting. I think there's lots of different things like that. The point about the triangle or the pyramid, everyone now talks about it potentially being a diamond or flipped around the other way, whichever sort of thing. And to an extent, that's true because you see junior hiring's difficult, right? Like it's hard to justify on a spreadsheet. I'm certainly not advocating for not hiring junior people at all. I think we absolutely must find a way to do that. But if you're looking at a spreadsheet and you've now suddenly got a program that can, well, we were speaking to someone earlier about podcast stuff, and they were saying that if there was a task, a really low level task that they would have probably given junior people to do, which could have taken years to do, but they did it in a weekend, like for $5,000 or something. Like, how can you therefore justify years and years worth of input to do something like that, which is like the grunt work as well? So I think that's a problem. But I think for like a big firm like an Accenture or like any big consultancy, there are others, not just Accenture. I'm going alphabetically, but like if you're in an organization, you think, well, I'm going to use consultancy versus just doing everything with AI. Like it gives you that, covers your ass, right? Like you no one's ever been sacked for hiring IBM or whatever that terrible phrase is, but it's one of those things where I made a valid choice and I reduced my risk by doing this thing and hiring these guys in because they're the experts, supposedly. So I guess it all ties together. Will consulting die? Probably not, because there's always going to be a need to do that. But I think the shape of it will change, already is changing the way that pricing models are going, where people are very much on outcomes and outputs rather than inputs and effort. And like that billable hours dying or dead type thing across not just consulting but across lots of different industries. You're seeing that, like look at law, where people would charge you to the second for things where like so much of it is now actually, well, the AI is doing it in seconds or minutes, so you need to be charged for the expertise which makes sure that is actually right. So yeah, it's the pounds and pence versus minutes. It's a different dynamic now, I think.
Yeah, I think you're definitely paid more for now I guess the expertise, like Derek says. It's a case of, yes, AI can do a lot of it, but is it doing the right thing? Is it set up to fix your problem in the right way? Are all those considerations made? I think for me the value lies still in experience. I think people still do want to talk to other humans and work with other humans, and you create an experience. I work in client engagement. That's a big piece of what we do. A lot of a lot of the challenges we often come up against aren't just let's think of ideas for this or let's think of a solution for that. It can be more than that. It needs a lot more context than that. It needs more perspectives than just that. And yes, you still can feed all of that in, but I think we shouldn't undervalue the actual human experience and all of that. People talking to other people and feeling like they've been understood, and not just pinging back and forth something that AI has generated and then you use AI to read it and then you use AI to feedback. I think people are getting wise to that, so you've got to be smarter now, but also the human element is becoming more prominent. I think people, especially within the consultancy environment, that team dynamic is probably the most important bit, is the people that you're working with and actually feeling like they understand your challenges. Because if not, you can just hire people that can fix things for you. If you're going to come to a consultancy, you want us to genuinely understand what it is that you want to achieve and get on board with that experience and understand it and have the right people set things up. And yeah, you don't want to just pay for time that could be spent more efficiently, but yeah, you're paying for expert experience. And I just don't think some of that or all of that can be replicated. We like to think it can sometimes, but It can't.
Yeah, no, we're seeing that, and we're in the position where our most senior talent is now, like, they were never the most billable people, right? Because no one wants to pay X amount of pounds to have your CTO. But now we're in the position where actually the most valuable thing we can provide is that real world expertise and the ability of someone to sit in a room and debate and kick around ideas and really prod around things that you're not going to get from an LLM. I mean, you might, but it might just be completely in the wrong direction. Someone who's been there and lived it and who can actually sit face to face with you and say, are we doing the right things? Are we utilizing AI the right way? Is this the right way of our operating model to evolve, to keep pace with everything that's going on in the world? It's really interesting how that's going. And I'm sure our senior team will not mind being out on the road a bit more and going to all the glamorous places to spend some time and actually doing some really meaningful stuff, which sets up the larger programs of work as well, but sets them up properly so that people aren't diverting cash in the wrong place, or time and effort in the wrong places as well. And I think there's a horrible, like, cheesy phrase as well, like because everyone's got access to the same tools, right? So everyone's got a level playing field, but it doesn't make you an expert in the things. But it's like someone said, I don't know if I hate it or if I love it, but someone said, you can watch like as many kung fu movies as you want, but it doesn't make you Bruce Lee. So it's like, yeah, we've got all the tools in the world and all the expertise at your fingertips, but you still got to have to, like, train and learn how to use it. So someone with 30 years experience is probably still going to have a little bit on you in terms of how you build a business and how you drive change effectively with technology.
It just reshapes, I think, what we do. It just means that we step up and our role becomes different. You know, if AI can be used to make a process more efficient or to get something done quicker or however that might look, then, you know, we gauge that we should be leaning into that and doing that. But it doesn't mean, you know, our role is probably more prominent than it's ever been, because actually it's on us to help them step up and help them to learn more and help validate their decisions. They rely more, like Derek says, on our senior people now, the people with that deeper experience. So I think that's fair. Not great for those probably coming into the space, because the demands are increasing and we have to increase with them. You know, we have to step up into that. So yeah, I think it creates massive opportunity for consultancies like ours. But yeah, I think it's asking for more from your people than it was before.
Yeah. Like we're probably going to go back to this same point on multiple episodes of this podcast, but like that junior entry point is like, it's just becoming so difficult to figure out how you get a foot in the door, because, well, like the traditional consulting model, big consulting, is you sell the thing, then you get really talented junior people to go in and do it at a huge margin, right? And that's no secret to anyone, everyone knows that, but you can't justify these junior people to go in and like create spreadsheets and PowerPoints anymore, because like it's done for you. So like that is an interesting problem that someone super smart, maybe Elon Musk, will fix. He's all gets out of money. He gets just some cash to run some juniors. It'll be fine.
There's a piece doing the rounds making the case that parents are actually your best hires. And surprisingly, it's for all the reasons you wouldn't think. So it is the sort of 5:30 hard stop. I have to pick up the kids. And the argument is really that great performance in an AI era is no longer about hours. It's really about prioritization and judgment. And parents have been force trained into exactly that. So the question becomes, should we, or are we still building organizations around availability rather than output? And more importantly, what would actually have to change for that to shift? And I think, you know, Hedgehog Lab is uniquely situated in that it is about output rather than just availability. Katy, what are your thoughts on parents making the best hires?
I mean, as a parent, I'm probably going to agree. You know, I think it makes sense to me. I think parenthood teaches you a lot because you're sort of forced to work to someone else's sort of agenda, or timescales, however we put it. You're on their timeline at that point. We have certain things that have to be done: school runs, pickups, feeding your kids. Making sure that you're spending time there and being present. But I think it does. I definitely could say that it does force you to sort of work in a priority order and try and get things done efficiently, because time becomes a little bit more precious, maybe, in terms of how much time you have to do things. So yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I want to say something against it, but no, I think parents have a tough job, and yeah, it can be hard if you are judged on just, presence, on that visibility that I'm going to be working all hours, I'm going to be available at any hour, I'm going to be here, because I think some of the biggest contributors aren't necessarily those people. And it depends on maybe what world you work in. I think working in more of a commercial world, we are quite visible in a lot of spaces, and I think we do work longer hours. But I have chunks of time that I know it's time to get Hannah, get her fed, have those few hours, and I might be back online later. And you're less visible at those hours to people. Doesn't mean you're not contributing. But yeah, I think if you work solely on visibility, it's tough. And I think sometimes I've seen friends of mine that have gone back from maternity leave, and they feel that pressure quite intensely to sort of make themselves available. I don't know what that is, because other people might be around more hours than what they are. And yeah, I don't know, it's hard. I think I look at it in a positive manner, because we're somewhere that supports that, and you can work around your own schedule, you can get things done. And I think output is the core value where we are, which is great. But where it is visibility and time spent, or you're going to be in the office 3 days a week, that puts an unnecessary pressure on people, doesn't it? I think these people work hard enough as it is.
I totally agree. I do, but I am also, like, I've been told I'm unhinged with some of the times I post things on Slack. So, but it's sort of like you work to the times that work for you, right? And the visibility things, I don't think it's going away anytime soon. And we are very fortunate at Hedgehog Lab, because we are based on output and we are based on value, and it's not, is there a green dot on Derek or Katy's Slack just now? Presumably there's not one on mine just now. So it's like, no one's judging you on that. But on the flip side, in a commercial role, like, you need people to be visible sometimes as well. And I can fight it. I've found you find yourself getting frustrated if people are not available when you need them, because you're sometimes running at 100 miles an hour and people are doing their other things. And it's just about balancing priorities and managing yourself sometimes, and just like, chill, it's not actually that important. You can probably wait till X, Y, or Z's done, and it's fine. But I think I'm a big believer in, like, you will fill the amount of time that you have to do a task. So I think that's the whole parenthood, and having those like guardrails or hard stop points. Like, it makes you do things. Because I always find, like, I'm enforced to go and have dinner with the kids as like feeding time at the zoo, right? And it's the benefit of working from home a lot is that you can go and do stuff which I never used to do back in the day. But it means that sort of, if I know I'm finishing at 5:30, like, or whatever time, if I know I'm finishing at that point, that 45 minutes before I finish up is like the most productive time of my day, because like, shit, I need to get this done. I'm going to do this task, and then silly. Like, why can you not work like that the entire rest of the day, you idiot? So it's annoying, but I think there's a lot of validity in what people talk about, because people have learned these forced habits, and you have to work with the time that you have to do things. And I think, like, things are quicker to do. You can, if you're smart, you can do things a lot quicker than you would have been able to do previously. And if you've got the time dedicated to do it, then you're already in a good place, because you know how to make the most of the time. So I'm going to back it, but also being a parent, clearly. It's like, you're cool. We're the best.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think. I think parents. I think it's less about being them. I'm not saying that they're your best hires by any stretch. I think there is argument in that in terms of that prioritization and things like that. I just think it's more around how businesses should be considering output of people that might be in positions where they do have, childcare and things like that. Because I think, someone that might be on reduced hours, for example, might, their output could be twice as much as someone that's showing up and is present 12 hours a day and is permanently online. I just think the comparison points need to change, don't they?
Yeah. So what's it's really, particularly in the States, there's like this the grind culture of doing, was it 996? Get lost. That's just insane. I will have some burnout, please. I will give you down for one massive dose of burnout. It's insane. Yeah, I like working hard. I genuinely get joy out of what I do, so I don't mind being on and doing stuff at 9 o'clock at night. It's because I'm choosing to do it, not because some dude has told me, yeah, you're chained to your desk for 9 hours a day. No, thank you. I'll do what I want. Thanks very much. And I'll make it work for me. But I think it's about just being grown up and doing stuff, and you prioritize things to make sure you understand what your role is, what your value is, and how you deliver it. Yeah, I think, can someone do it in reduced hours? Absolutely, if they're smart. You see companies are doing it as well. They've got lots of companies have gone down to 4 days, for example, as well. So are they less productive than those who are doing the insane hours and who are sleeping at their desks and things? I think there's I wouldn't attach glamour to doing that sort of stuff. It's certainly not for me.
I think that is one of the benefits that has come out of well, not for America, but for the rest of the world, the sort of the death of hustle and grind culture, where we've sort of realized that it's not, if you're in the office 12 hours a day for 6 days, what are you doing? That's not a good example of, good time management. It's just, you just kind of or the workload is not, distributed equally, because obviously someone is having to pick up a lot of slack. I just want to add that we are, from Hedgehog Lab, we are not saying to go out and have kids just to increase your career prospects. We are just saying that
they're very, very expensive and make me very tired.
As a non-parent, I certainly am saying you don't need to go out and have human babies. Fur babies are sufficient. But yeah, I think there's also something to do with, especially when you're in sort of client-facing positions, really the sort of not, and this is not anything with regards to our clients, but, when you're working with someone who's irrational and demanding, kids teach you very quickly how to handle that. So I think there's a lot to learn from engaging with parents, and it's good to see that we're no longer in the culture where in the interview process someone is going, do you plan on having kids, and that becomes a negative. So I think this is a great step forward in terms of actually those things that you thought were bad are actually really, really great, and they're going to give you a team that knows how to prioritize and knows how to put things forward in the right way. We've come up to the end of our chat this week. And as always, we like to end with that wonderful question: what has inspired you this week? So a piece of music, a film, a TV show, bit of design, or a book that you found really interesting and has really kind of inspired you during this week. Derek, I'll kick off with you.
So I'm not sure if inspired is the right word, but so I've been thinking a lot about music attached to video games. And it's just weird. So my son is 8, so he's really getting into video games, and particularly racing sims. And there's one in particular. There was a big release for Forza Horizon 6 on Xbox recently. So it's worldwide, huge phenomenon. There's literally tens of millions of people are playing it already. It's incredible, really good game. But the music on it is incredible. So the opening track is by a band or a DJ called Lane 8, and it's just like, it's up my street anyway. It's like some deep house, like cool music, and I was like, that's incredible. And then like every time I hear it now, I'm just automatically connecting it with him in my head. So like, I'm going out of the house, I'm putting on Spotify, and it's all like based on that. It's like in some way connecting with him, even though he hates the music, because he's like, he listens to 80s rock. He's like basically an old man. But like in my mind, I'm connecting with him, but then I'm also thinking, you know what? Like, I so remember all the songs that were attached to the games that I played as a kid, and I can still like vividly remember them. Like, so for the first game I ever played was Super Mario Brothers, right? The first ever Mario, and like that song is forever etched in my mind. Like the 8-bit music, and it's just there. It's incredible. But then we're at the World Cup season now, right? So I remember FIFA 98 World Cup, and it was Blur Song 2 and Robbie Williams, Let Me Entertain You. So all the songs that I may have never particularly chosen to listen to, but they're stuck in my head, and I could probably, I mean, I could sing badly, but I know them off the top of my head. It's just, I think the music and the way you experience it and how you experience things, it just sort of stays with you for clearly a very long time, because I'm getting old as hell. So it's just one of these things, like decades later, it makes you feel something. So I don't know if I'd say inspired wasn't the word, but it's been thinking, it's been stuck with me over the past few days, and yeah, I've now got the music going in my head, and it's like, it's an emotional thing. I love it. It's good.
Reflective.
Thank you. That's much better. Reflective is a much better word for that.
The case for sonic branding, right there by Derek. If anybody was wondering, Katy, what has inspired you this week?
Last week I had something good, didn't I? Because I.
Okay, you did well, Danny, last week.
Yeah. You had a book and everything. It was like
I read a book. Yeah, I could give a little bit of insight. Honestly, this week, haven't read anything this week really, apart from the news and a lot of stuff about SpaceX, which we spoke about. I have admittedly been watching, and I don't think this is also inspired. I've been watching trash TV. Fuzlin, you will definitely enjoy it.
Love Island.
Watch Owning Manhattan.
Oh yes, no, I love it. It's great. It's one of the best ones.
I
Ryan
loving it.
Amazing.
Yeah, love Ryan Serhan. Love Owning Manhattan. Derek, it's about Serhan. They're a brokerage in the US that sell some of the most expensive properties in the world, and you see that it's all focused around their salespeople and how they're selling and how
we're getting you some Botox as well, and maybe we can go over there. We can
never have as much Botox as on that show, even if I start right now and do it daily, no chance. But yeah, you maybe it links to the monumental valuations conversation that we had around SpaceX, because they are selling the most expensive apartment in the world, which is in Manhattan. I think the price is less now because they didn't manage to sell it for £250 million. So they were looking at the pools of potential prospects, and obviously there you need billionaires only, really, because could afford that. And then you start to see just how small that pool really is, and I love it. It's a great show. So I'm not going to say inspired unless you realize how other people live, though, because they are. This is insane levels of money changing hands for insanely beautiful but tiny properties in New York City.
I think we need to change our pricing structure and our commission structure if we're anything.
It shows you. It shows you what their commission would be on the deal, and you're like, oh my goodness,
I'm in the wrong industry.
Retired.
What's also really interesting about Serhan, the agency, is that for Ryan Serhan has managed to turn that into a tech company, very similar to the WeWork structure. So it ties really nicely into the valuation conversation, because I don't think it's ever been done where, I mean, we certainly know many big real estate agencies, but this one in particular, he has set up to run and be funded as a tech company. So he has VC funding, and it's quite an interesting journey. So.
Do you know one of our clients is an NYC-based real estate timber?
Is it Ryan Sohan?
Oh,
I don't know what you heard.
That'll be great.
Is it Sohan? But like, they might think it's that word, right? They may be using their tech because we're building a conversational interface for them to be able to say what is going on with. I think a lot of it's leasing stuff, but like what are the leasehold deals here? What's going on? And it's all AI. It's really cool stuff. But it's just an interesting world if they're. I mean, because these people, despite being salespeople, they need the tools, right? They need the information, so they must.
Yeah,
There's
they're becoming
possible connection there.
I love
they're becoming
Ryan.
huge data insight companies, and it's very like a very interesting space. I too enjoy that. I think I've been inspired this week by the fact that the World Cup is kicking off on the 11th of June. So this week, Thursday, we're kicking off the World Cup. The opening game is South Africa versus Mexico, which is, if you remember back to 2010 when South Africa hosted the World Cup, that was the opening game for us. It was on the same day. So this will be a nice little closing the loop of Mexico coming to play in South Africa and South Africa going to play in Mexico.
Glad there's no Vuvuzela this time, though. Dear me.
We apologize for that.
Absolutely terrible.
It's really interesting because I have not seen a Vuvuzela since the 2010 World Cup.
You only to annoy the rest of the world. Oh, yeah, this is a traditional instrument. No, it's not. You guys are idiots.
That was just a very big sort of national prank on the world. I apologize.
We're going to make the world feel very silly. We're just going to introduce this thing. It's nonsense. You proved how crazy we all are.
I mean, we love a good noisemaker, but I will. Yeah, we definitely have not. We have not seen a Vuvuzela since then, and we're all very happy about it. I occasionally catch them in other places, but South Africa's gone away with it. But yeah, I love a good global event. I like something where everybody is sort of getting the information at the same time, because we have so few of those sort of shared experiences anymore. So I'm really looking forward to we're not going to go far. We're not going to get out of the group stages, but I'm here for the shared experience. And I'm also maybe not here for like the time zone difference, because that's going to be a bit hectic to navigate. Especially considering where the majority of football fans are. So we will see that. So yeah, inspired by a bit of shared experience. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, Katy, for joining me this week. Thank you to everyone who's listening. To find out more about our sessions, our briefings, our product builders, or the network, head on over to our website, our social channels, and of course, follow this podcast for more. And we'll see you next time.